I would be so much more upset if Amazon went down for 5 months. It's not even a contest. It's not even close. Think about it.
Yeah. Oh, I don't go to the only Twitter I get is like when I'm on Reddit and they send me to Twitter. I'm like, why didn't you just screenshot it, dude? I don't want to go here. I'm not even signed into the app. It's like, would you like to sign in? Nope.
No, this video isn't that funny, guaranteed. Like
I like Twitter for the screenshots of it I get on other websites. That's how I use Twitter mostly.
Yeah, that's how I use Twitter. Twitter interact with humans.
Elon Musk bought Twitter and made Twitter the most interesting place on the internet for a month-ish, maybe. Elon Musk was the most interesting man in the world. Might still be, but he's not as interesting as he was when he first got Twitter. When he rolled in there and he had the fucking kitchen sink and he had all this interest and he's talking about who he needs to fire and how he's going to make this site great. I was compelled. Twitter hit all new usage numbers. Today, what is Twitter? I don't know. It's the same as it was years ago, right? In the last 5 years, has Twitter made any changes that caught your attention?
It's just the blue check mark that you got to pay $8 for, I think.
Okay, I noticed that difference. They brought that back.
Yeah.
They went to 240 characters or 280, whatever that is.
Oh, they have a community notes feature.
I know nothing about that.
What is that?
So I glanced at it. I think, to be honest, I didn't check it out too much. I just saw Elon congratulate his team that said great work on the community notes feature that helps combat misinformation so people can go in there and fact check each other. I don't know. I didn't click on it, but I saw it.
I won't click on it either. Sounds boring.
Taylor brought up a point months ago, where he was like, how long is this manufactured Twitter drama gonna last, right? Where Elon just says something kind of hot take to get everyone to talk about him and talk about Twitter and it didn't last forever. Twitter is just, the usage numbers are down. The engagement is down. Yeah.
He'll have a new thing. He will, like, that's his shtick. Like, he'll have another attention grabbing take or thing to rile up a bunch of news stories. Like, I imagine every time it starts to get like he gets worried, he does something like that. Like, oh yeah, I need to juice the engine a bit. Maybe it's more less tactical than that.
He got upset that his tweets weren't getting the views that they were before. So he calls in his engineers and he goes, guys, there must be some bug. People aren't looking at my tweets as much as they used to. And an engineer brought all this data forward and said, well, you're not as popular as you used to be. Here's the opinions, here's the ratios, etc. It's working as designed. People just aren't buying what you're selling like they were. And he got fired. He fired him right on the spot. Yeah. So they brought in other engineers who said, okay, just special for you, you will have your own algorithm that shows your tweets to people beyond what they would have naturally gone viral.
Exactly what I would do if I were him. Like, look, we're in my house. I own Twitter. We're in my house. You right. Signed in? Welcome. Nice of you to come on in. Have a seat at my table. While you're here, you'll notice that my microphone goes louder than yours. Yes. Because it's my house.
Would you like some ice cream? You're all entitled to have one screen. Notice I have two. It's my house.
I'm okay with that. I didn't give a shit. They made that out to be like, oh, the emperor wears no clothes indeed. Mm-hmm. And then but everything now is he's so disliked that the internet nitpicks so much that it comes full circle. And I hope it makes people who are kind of in the middle and just don't give a shit be like, wow, y'all are like obsessed with this guy, huh? Like when I see them tracking his plane continuously and like 5,000 upvotes, 800 comments, all just look at him traveling.
Look at him with everything he could ever want, with everything that I want.
Today they had this footage of the Cybertruck driving up over a curb onto a grassy like hill area to be photographed next to the rest of the lineup, and they used some ramps to let it go up over the concrete curb because it's got so much what's that shit? Ground effects and shit. Like it's not made to approach like an 8-inch curve and go up over
interesting.
It. And maybe it was just they were just worried about it getting dirty. I don't know. They threw up some fucking ramps. They wheeled it up carefully up the thing for this little photo thing. Again, it's not like everybody's like, all right, now do a thing. It's like, all right, put it on the hill over there, Mike. And Mike is like, yeah, I'll do it very carefully with your prototype truck, Mr. Man. So and they're like, look at it. It can't even get up over the curb. And it's like, guys, do you think that a 4-wheel drive electric vehicle doesn't have enough torque to get up over that curve? Is that what do you really believe that?
It's like the Flintstones.
Wow. They didn't want to damage it in any way. They weren't taking any chances, but the internet is like, look, if there's anything we know about Teslas, forget about that self-driving stuff, I guess. Like that's a bad definition, bad way to phrase it. We all know how fast they go. I saw one in China today. The accelerator stuck. It turned into a semi-guided missile. Okay. It's just gliding through China. Like when it went over a hill, the front end touched the ground first, skidded, and then it landed flat and kept going. It was incredible. Wow. He had a bus.
Dude, like I don't follow the Musk news as close. But I feel like I see all that dude's tweets because nowadays you get suggested tweets from people that you follow, and he's one of those accounts that like everybody pretty much follows to see what's up. And so I feel like you get fed his stuff constantly. But if people are actually mad about like the algorithm, the truck, like are people actually mad about the truck, or is it like a meme? Because that's like getting mad at like
when I see
like seeing a mascot costume at Disney World. It's like you understand what a prototype is, right? You know that's not really Mickey Mouse. Like,
so there's different levels of being mad about something. Like sometimes they like start a whole group about it, get a hashtag going. This was more like, look at this thing that happened today. It's weak. They got all at their panties all bunched up when he told Ukraine they couldn't use his satellites to target Russians anymore. He was like, guys, I didn't know y'all were using my internet to pinpoint people with VOG grenades. How many people have you killed using my satellites so far? Because that's not what I wanted to do. I'm
trying to make sure everybody can watch YouTube.
By the way, it was free, right? He was giving them his service for free. No, the government was initially was free, right? And then he was and then he realized that again that
I think the U.S. paid him out the nose for that.
Wasn't there?
Google it right now, but I want to say the United States is paying him a bunch.
Do you know about this, Josh?
Yeah, wasn't there like there was a reason he had to stop because his technology was being used for a certain purpose that would make the government add all these extra restrictions. I forget. I read about it on Reddit. Who knows if that's accurate or not? But yeah. I believe depending on the purpose of those drones, redefines what the government will classify those as. Like it's not just civilian anymore if you're using those to drop.
Yeah, his satellites. Yeah, like maybe the classification of his satellites might change if they're using. And I'm not. It's not like maybe they're using them for targeting. It's like they were using them for targeting very effectively, and he was just like, nah, I can't do this anymore. Y'all got to stop killing people with my satellites. And I understand that point of view. Like, look, we're over here, and like I sent him some money. There was a charity where they were like, I remember in the early days they showed this bombed out fucking dog shelter. And I know that there's like people in the rubble too, but man, I did not like the dogs being in the rubble because they didn't get a siren. You know, they can't open the door and run. They can't like, oh, I'm heading to Kazakhstan. Things are getting rough around here. They're stuck in that. And that's yeah, let's send them some money. I sent them $100. Elon Musk, when he like makes a little, oh, I feel bad. Let's do a thing. Now people are dead, like in the hundreds or thousands, maybe, or maybe people are alive by the tens of thousands. That's what I always hear that. Especially in the early days, the use of his infrastructure was key to them holding the line, to be able to communicate back and forth and strategize that defense.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
I looked it up. The U.S. has paid millions for Starlink. I can't get a vibe for whether or not that's the going rate.
Is it good here
now?
Oh,
it's expensive. I don't know. I wanted to get it for my dad a while back because my dad's still on that fucking like satellite shit, watching Gunsmoke over there.
Oh, yeah. Is it available everywhere now? I don't think so. I feel like we would have heard about that if Starlink.
Right?
Starlink. Is it available where?
Do you know me?
I was curious if they like have it here.
Like can I turn it on and get some Starlink and how good it is?
I don't know about you, but people can. Like I have friends who just can't wait for it to roll into their area, and I know other people who have it and think it's the greatest.
I have it. It's pretty great. I'm not using it right now, but I have a Starlink that I take with me when I go like outside camping or something. The thing is like you have to register its location every time you use it, so you can't like use it on the go. At least I haven't figured it out because first of all, it's like attached to your name and address and stuff, and so it knows it's supposed to be there. And then whenever you take it somewhere else, you have to like re-register it. Also, one thing, if you disconnect the service, there was like a little disclaimer that said I might not be able to get it back due to the overwhelming like demand.
Oh, they'll give the spot to someone else.
Mm-hmm. But I don't have to give the equipment back, so I just have a Starlink, and I don't know. Hopefully, it'll turn back on.
They'll put you back in line. You'll get that. I think that's just their way of saying, don't just expect you get right back in. If you come back, you might have to wait a day, a week. But You doubt it would be forever or like a long period of time. I'm interested
No,
in
they
that.
don't want you anymore.
Yeah, they don't want you
your
back.
money.
I saw a simulation showing the number of Starlink satellites. I had no idea. Guess how many there are. Like, all right, first of all, I don't know. Zach, please find how many Starlink satellites there are. But like, if I had guessed, I'd have been like, oh, I bet he's got like 20 of them up there, like all around the world.
Not because I know anything about it, but because I'm going off your vibe. That number is closer to 90.
I'm gonna guess that it's beyond that. It's like two because they're too. I bet they're super tiny, right? They're not like. I don't imagine they're like. They're not huge, are they?
I'm
gonna go an even
coffee cans.
An even 1,000.
I think they're like the size of like the back of a truck.
Like a bed of.
But
I'm already committed to 1,000, so I guess I'm all
like
stick
a truck
with
bed.
Maybe like 800 or probably closer to there.
Whoa!
There are 3,005.
I win by default, honestly.
I told you. I saw that. I didn't guess because I saw the like graph, and it was a swarm of them around the Earth.
3,580 small satellites. You can see them.
Yeah, at night, if it's if you have like a dark sky area, it's not light polluted. You can see them. There's just like little trains of lights that go across. People post them on like r/space sometimes. It's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I had no idea.
But eventually, they're going to get brighter and brighter, and more of them, and then we'll have groups saying, "Internet at what cost? You can't see the night sky." And they'll say, "Yeah, I can, right here online."
They are the night sky.
They are the night
You
sky.
joke, but that's a huge concern. Like the pollution of the space
pollution?
around us. But no. When so not too long ago, a supposedly secret Russian satellite broke up in the in space and broke up in like 1,000 pieces. Those pieces are ranging in size from paint chips to maybe something as big as your monitor, right? Or bigger, I'm guessing. I'm just saying. But all this shit is moving at hyper speeds through the goddamn upper atmosphere. And like it makes again, it's a huge area out there, but they just keep doing shit like this. And we keep polluting that area, then space travel or especially like on the civilian side. Can you imagine a paint chip hitting you at 17,000 feet per second?
A paint chip? I can't imagine. I don't know what that will do, but I do know some of the items we're talking about are like bolts, like a 1-inch bolt that maybe you see all the time. That thing moving at, did you say 17,000 feet per second? That's not a speed that I understand.
Yeah, that's so fast.
But I can tell you, if a bolt hit me, that would be like a 50 cal or something, but faster than a 50 cal. It's a
dude. If across the room you without a hard hat, I went like. You go, ow! Ah! like that sort of bolt is at 7 feet a second.
Haven't there been times where they did like a test to see if you like flip a coin off the top of a building to see if it's fatal? That's pretty fatal already. So like,
actually, so you've got terminal velocity, right?
It has to hit a very old.
So everything accelerates at the same rate in the atmosphere. Is what is it, 9.2 meters squared or something squared? Anyway, but things have terminal velocity because of the air. Humans' terminal velocity is about 150 miles per hour. So it doesn't matter how high I drop you from, you'll cap out around 150, 155, depending on your build and such, right? It'll vary a little. Core is the same thing. It's going to have sort of a terminal velocity, and it's not exactly deadly. I think Mythbusters did a thing with that because
how about
it
a marble?
Was smart. I don't know the answer to every single item, but I know when it happens with a bullet,
Kyle. Let's just keep dumping him
with bullets. The misunderstanding is people imagine they're shooting straight up, and it's going to like go straight up and then stop and then go bottom up and fall straight down. But you'd have to be fucking Annie Oakley Master Chief to do that shit. And so what you're actually going to do is shoot at some angle, and then the wind is going to catch it as well. And it's going to be in a parabolic arc or whatever, and it's going to tag somebody 5 miles away and kill them because it's carrying a lot of energy when you shoot it at any angle for the duration.
I've heard that, and I'm sure you're right. It just doesn't. It's not what I expect. I would expect so let's say 90 degrees is perfect, right? Or 180 from the ground. I would think that me eyeballing it, doing the best I could, would get to like 85 to 90, like in that.
If you're trying to shoot straight up,
and
it'd probably be okay. I don't know. You can do the math. The math is like
80's not good enough, and I'm like, really? I kind of thought it would be, but
I I don't know how to do the math off the top of my head, but I know it's some equations they figured out a few hundred years ago, and we could just really quickly figure out how many foot-pounds of energy that bullet's carrying at an 85-degree angle at a 45 ACP. Leaving the barrel
Professor.
like we can mark this out. But I bet it was fucking smart is what it would come down to. But what's really interesting is when you're in space and there's no goddamn atmosphere to slow things down, and shit gets up to those crazy, scary speeds, where a bolt would be like not a 50 cal, but maybe an explosion hitting you in the chest. It would just be a tremendous amount of power. I've seen those like hyperspeed videos of like tiny things hitting blocks of steel at those speeds. It plows deep into them and makes like craters like a big bullet hit.
Yeah.
Just because, mass times what speed, velocity,
there's no
huge amount of energy being created.
When I said 50 cal, I was talking about just the mass itself. The speed, It would be like a 50 cal traveling 5 times faster than a 50 cal.
It's not good. And we need less space litter.
Less
and
space.
If the Russians
are
the ones causing all of it, then we need to get them in line with their space litter.
There's a litter concentration, so more space would do too.
That's what Space Force
check on the Chinese also. We learned the other day how they do plastic in the ocean. I bet they're fucking ruining the skies.
They are. Did you know that? So China did a huge proportion of the space debris out there is from one Chinese test.
Of course.
And the test was, can we destroy a satellite? So rather than do it some responsible way where they put it in the like low Earth orbit and they made sure everything would fall to the ground, they put it way up high, they blew it up, and it's all still out there scattered about.
What a bunch of assholes.
Yeah.
Like they knew what was going to happen. They were already in space. Like they knew the consequences of it falling apart in space.
If you're good enough to hit a satellite out of space, you're smart enough to know it'll make a mess.
Yeah. I don't buy that lapse in judgment.
I bet if someone wanted someone like India or China or Russia that has the rockets or whatever,
it doesn't support what I said.
Could they ruin space? Could they launch like lots of missiles into space with ball bearings, like huge amounts of ball bearings, and like ruin space effectively for
That's a really good question, because my knee-jerk reaction was no, space is too big, and then I was like, well, I mean, if they were trying, they could really make it suck, right?
Here's the other thing, and I don't know.
They're definitely good.
So there was initially this idea that, hey, man, y'all are using those Saturn V rockets or whatever they're using to launch these satellites. It's incredibly expensive. Every pound you put up there is costing you like $20,000. Why not a big cannon? Why not a big cannon to blast them into space?
Yes.
We need some durable satellites, but
isn't there one where it flings them into space? That one's pretty cool. Or at least they're testing it.
That'd be fun.
So that's more of a that like space trebuchet idea where like I've seen like simulations of it operating in space, like this arm that's
capture.
but it involves like bringing your space. You have these big rotating arms with mass on one end that orbit the Earth, and they're rotating at very high speeds. And you bring your spaceship along. You attach to the long arm, and you're flung by that to your destination. It's a tremendous amount of energy for free, in that escape velocity.
That's cool.
But the cannon for the satellites was built into the side of a hill because the barrel was so long you couldn't just have the barrel in the air. It had to be built underground to support the mass of it. But while that turned out not to maybe work for satellites and their sensitive inner workings, if you were just shooting like capsules full of ball bearings that would then release and explode into like the upper atmosphere, like, or into space, whatever, so they would stay up there for a while, like, would you just ruin this space travel for every other developed nation?
Just put the ball bearings over Russia. I don't see what could go wrong.
They're gonna go everywhere. Woody. You ever see a snow globe? Snow globe, Woody.
How would you fix that? Just complete area denial for wherever you wanted it to be.
You have to send up
and
a series of nets.
Here's the thing, though. I can't imagine anyone doing that because the world enjoys the wonders of GPS, and they have for the last 40 or 50 years or whatever it's been. Isn't it amazing that we just made that shit free? Yes. It's like, hey, world, would you like to always know where you are? America's your guiding light. And we didn't put the stars and stripes on it. We didn't put USA on everything that says GPS. We should have called it USA, not GPS. But how did that happen? This is
Russia has one
cure
too?
for polio.
Yeah. I mean, what sort of information could we gain?
Of course, I would imagine so.
Yeah,
I have some kind of backup, or you're kind of in a big
My
War.
watch lets me choose whether I want to use just the American ones or the American and the Russian ones. Like, do you want to use these extra satellites?
How do you feel about
Do
the
you ever
quality of
check?
service between the two?
Yeah.
If there
I
is
don't
any.
know. I can't tell. I just add more satellites to the watch and it still takes forever. I'm not sure.
So like is it possible that you could like set it up and you'd be like, wow, Russia's getting me to the store a little quicker today. Step it up. Russia's picking just like waves through the
I'm fascinated by your watch technology now. So what can your watch do?
So it has GPS in it, and it can like leave breadcrumbs on the map to where you went and perhaps get you back.
Brilliant.
It uses the GPS to set the altitude, because the altitude is based on the barometer. So as the air pressure goes up and down, the watch can't know that you're not going up and down. You have to tell it right
Where you
now
are.
at this, I'm at 300. And then for the next few hours, it'll be pretty accurate. But in 3 days, it'll be kind of inaccurate.
Yours doesn't have the barometer in it. Oh,
It does. No, but
It does.
Yeah, of course it does. You need a barometer to have an altimeter, but you have
Dumbass.
to tell it like, like right now, right? Thursday at 8
Yours
p.m.
doesn't use LiDAR.
At Thursday at 8 p.m. This is what 300. This is the pressure you find at 300 feet above sea level, and then tomorrow it'll be like, well, now this is the pressure to above 300 feet above sea level.
I love the breadcrumb thing,
but the GPS can set it. So in case you don't know your current altitude where you're standing, the GPS will tell you
for you.
Yeah.
I guess can you guide yourself out of the wilderness with it? Would it be like, obviously you've got a compass inside of it, I'm sure. I mean, everything's a compass, it seems like, but like, does it have any guidance abilities? Would the arrow could you be like, take me home, and the arrow always points toward home on your watch, so you could just use it that way? Because that would be enough for me.
That, yeah, which is useful on a paramotor. I don't have the vision.
I'm liking that watch.
I don't have the vision to really like look at a map. And also I'm flying. I'm literally flying a lawn chair. So like I'm kind of busy right now to stare at the watch for too long. And so anyway, it's really handy to.
What's the price tag on one of those? Is it about 1,400?
No.
Higher?
So this was this is a good one. It had the sapphire lens and the stealth black, whatever. And it was like 500.
Really? That's what my Luminox costs. You know what it does? It glows in the fucking dark and it's waterproof.
with real radium.